This video is brought to you by the Farmer Klein YouTube channel. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment.
Hello everybody, welcome back to another Farming Simulator 22 Map First Impressions video. Today we're going to take a look at Castile and Leon New Horizon. But before that, this video is brought to you by Scott Page and Darren Manville. Thank you for being farm barons. So the Castile and Leon New Horizon map can be found over at the farmingsimulator.com website or the in-game downloadable content menu, and as of the 1.0 release, this map is available for all platforms. Now hold on with me as I try to read through the description. It is quite an extensive description, and it really is worthy of understanding up front. Hello farmer, and welcome to Castile and Leon. In this map, you'll find many immersive features and details. You can get lost wandering the streets of this Castilian town and contemplate its houses, squares, shops, bars, restaurants, pedestrians, traffic, etc., and an industrial estate. It will snow differently, rain differently, and in winter you'll be able to observe smoke in the chimneys of the houses and in the factories. This map includes a total of 62 fields or plots, some of them square and many irregular. For the fields, you will have a total of 28 crops at your disposal. In addition to the originals, you will be able to grow rye and alfalfa, as well as some novelty crops that include apple tree, orange tree, cherry, plum, lemon tree, pomegranate, quince, holm oak, chestnut, almond, and walnut. You'll be able to produce juices and other products working with the fruit trees. In the store, you will find machinery for them. You will also work with resin pines and pine nuts with stone pines. Do note sugarcane and oilseed radish have been physically removed from the map. For animals, there you will find new breeds with new feed and productions and modified stables. You can also make your own feed with the crops and work with or buy them at the store. On the production side of the town, across the river is an industrial estate. There are factories to produce all the products and others scattered around the map. Other productions such as bakery, cheese shop, tailor shop, pastry, and many shops marked as points of sale located in town. As far as greenhouses go, there are new greenhouses that have cauliflower, carrot, garlic, pepper, cucumber, spring onion, and zucchini. You will have at your disposal 2 different types of greenhouses. These greenhouses work only with compost that you can buy at the store or produce yourself. This map includes several custom pieces of machinery that are also color changeable. You'll find new modifications such as silos, stables, storage tanks, walls, doors. You will be able to paint 15 different textures, place new trees, paint foliage such as grass, bushes, flowers to decorate your farm. Greetings to the entire farming community. So with that, let's go ahead and load on in. We are going to be using the mods we typically use when we take a look at maps. That is additional field info, additional game settings, field lease, field calculator, and precision farming. I will tell you, if you load this map up in farm manager mode or start from scratch, you will find the main starting area is completely void of all buildings. In addition, you do not own any machinery in those alternate play modes, nor do you own any land. Now we're going to be taking a look at this map in new farmer mode. And in any play mode, you start here kind of at the fringes of the map in the northwest corner. In new farmer mode, you have a pickup truck, but in alternate game modes, you do not have a vehicle here at all. Let's go ahead and take a look at the PDA itself. And if we take a look at our crops, you will see that we do indeed have sugarcane and oilseed radish removed, in addition to the standard crops minus oilseed radish and sugarcane. We also have rye, alfalfa, apple, orange, cherry, plum, lemon, pomegranate, quince, acorn, chestnut, almond, and nut. Go ahead and take a look at our lands area. You see we start out by owning farmland ID 1. That is the main starting farm. We also have farmland ID 26, which is a field, specifically field 1. Then including in those areas, well, we have a couple areas up here that include the resin and stone trees. So area 23 is the resin tree area. And farmland ID 17 is where our stone trees are going to be located. In addition to that, we have sheep here at farmland ID 29. We have pigs at farmland ID 52. And at 57, we have a cow area. Let's go ahead and take a look at our farmland lease screen. The farmland lease screen shows all of the viable farmlands, how large those farmlands are, if those farmlands include any field, what fields are included, then lastly, how much is that particular farmland going to cost us. You see a lot of these farmlands are multiple hundreds of thousands of dollars. Pretty expensive land, it seems like, if you ask me. Take a look at our field calculator screen. This is going to show us the specific sizes of each particular field. For example, field 1 is 2.36 hectares in size. That is the field that we own at the start. And it looks like the largest field is going to be 5.85 hectares. That would be field 17. Let's go ahead and see how the soil map is being applied to these fields. It is pulling in a custom soil map from the map itself, but this does look an awful lot to me like possibly the generic soil map. As you can see, not a lot of fields have been exposed here. That's because the other fields that are scattered around the map here, these are all planted in grass. Let's go ahead and take a look at our crop counter. We do have what appears to be the standard crop counter for Farming Simulator 22 that has been modified to include alfalfa, rye, and then our various fruits: an apple, orange, cherry, plum, lemon, pomegranate, quince, acorn, chestnut, almond, and nut. So we've got quite a long planting season, but a very short harvesting season for all of our fruits and nuts. Taking a look at our prices screen, we do indeed have the ability to sell all of the basic game crops that are available to us in Farm Sim 22. Now here it shows that sugarcane is not available for sale, but that's because, well, we can't plant it at all. It wasn't listed in the prices screen, so we will not be deducting points because we do not have a sell point for sugarcane, because the way the map is set up, you can't put sugarcane down on the map anyway. In addition, we do have the ability to sell our eggs, wool, and milk, as well as our silage, hay, straw, and grass. As we move down through our base game production items, you will see that we do indeed have the ability also to sell all of our base game production items as well, which is always a very good thing to see. Now, this map has an absolute ton of custom things going on here. For example, we have round bales are being called out specifically as one price, and then square bales are called out specifically for having a different price. We do have the ability to buy bulk lime. We also do have the ability to get rid of our stones, which is always good to see. And then let's start talking about our custom things. So we have square bale grass, that's its own price. Square bale hay, its own price. We also then have above round bales of grass and hay at different prices potentially. We have rye, alfalfa. This would be alfalfa grass. Then we have alfalfa hay. Now, I want to come back up here real quick because I'm not a huge fan when maps change icons. So we have a custom icon here for grass and hay. I'm not a huge fan of that. Players get to understand, they get accustomed to the base game icons. I would like to see base game icons remain for base game stuff. I don't have a problem, obviously, with custom icons on new things, but when you start changing up the icons, sometimes it can confuse the player a little bit. It confused me a little bit when I was starting to look at the animal pens, because the animal pens do have custom recipes as far as what the animals are going to be requiring. And when I saw this particular icon, I was like, what is that? Right? What is this? Well, clearly this is a little bit lighter color than that. So that would be grass. That would be hay. And this would be grass, and this would be grass, hay. Whereas down here, we have alfalfa grass and we have alfalfa hay. Then we have different prices for alfalfa round bales, alfalfa hay bales, square bales, and square hay bales. Then we have our apples, oranges, cherries, plums, lemons, pomegranate, quince, acorn, chestnut, almond, nuts. Then we have pinions. These are stone nuts from the stone nut tree. We have resin. That's going to be from the resin trees. Then we have cauliflower, carrots, garlic, peppers, cucumbers, spring onions, zucchini. We have a unique price for juice, and that is going to be where our fruits are coming into. We can basically press our fruits into juice. We have prunes, we have nuts, we have soybean flour, we have cow milk cheese, sheep milk cheese, we have tofu, yogurt, cupcakes, cookies, quince jelly, we have soy milk, we have compost, we have tree barks, we have pellets, crushed cereal, we have shredded protein cereal. Now, do note we can buy crushed cereals and shredded protein cereal. We have compound feed, we have chopped potatoes, not just chopped sugar beet, but chopped potatoes, chopped carrots, sheep milk, horse hair. Then we have our platinum expansion. You'll see that we do not have the ability to sell any of the platinum expansion items. So if you are going to be playing with the platinum expansion productions, you need to put down your own sell point. Then lastly, if you are playing with pumps and hoses, you will also need to put down a sell point for your separated manure or make use of it in the manure spreader, because we do not have a sell point put down already. We have a very, very short list of starting equipment. It's all new and none of it is leased. We do not have any animal pens at the start. We do have contracts available on this map. And as far as productions go, we start off by owning the feed mixer crusher. And let's just do a quick little rundown on the inputs and outputs of this. We're going to do a deeper dive into all of the production. And I have to say, there's quite a bit of production on the map. At first count, 36 production facilities pre-placed on the map, this being just one of them. But we have the ability to take wheat and make crushed cereal. So we can do the same with barley, oats, sorghum. Then we have corn as well. All of that we can make into just generally crushed cereal. We're going to be able to take soybeans, sunflowers, or canola and create crushed protein cereal. We're going to be able to chop our sugar beets. We can also chop our potatoes and carrots with this particular facility. We can make compound feed, and compound feed is going to be crushed wheat, or crushed cereal, sorry, crushed protein cereal. Then we have mineral feed, and then we also then have our, that is going to be, sorry, I'm trying to recall from memory what that is. That is going to be soybean flour. Sorry, that is exactly what that is. That is soybean flour. I could have just scrolled down and saw that list right there. And then we have our pig food, and our pig food is going to require crushed potatoes, crushed sugar beets, crushed carrots. Then we have our crushed cereal, our crushed protein cereal, our mini feed, mineral feed, and then also our soybean flour to make pig food. So quite the mixture of custom things here at our feed mixer, and we own that at the start. Lastly, this map does not have any collectibles. I'm just going to quickly tab over to our starting farm. But before we get around to the farm tour, I do want to take a look at our starting fleet. In new farmer mode, we start out by owning the Fendt Vario 311 small tractor, the Massey Ferguson 6713S medium tractor. We've got our 1986 pickup that we saw at the start. We have the Brandner TA 23065/2 Power Tube Plus trailer. And as you can see, all the fill types scrolling down below, well, it is set up to accept all of the bulk fill types here on the map. We have the AgroSim Combi Plow 4-meter variant subsoiler. We have a Solitar 12 seeder. And then it is also set up to work with alfalfa and rye. We have our Hardy Mega 1200L sprayer for our herbicide and liquid fertilizer. We both have the sprayer and the front support tank for that. We have the Breedall K105 lime and solid fertilizer spreader. Then we have a 1500 kilogram and 1000 kilogram front weight. As far as mods and DLCs, we do indeed have a ton of custom vehicles and implements here on the map. Now here we have the Fairsin PF224 Plus. This is a modded TMR mixer. You can see the inputs and outputs below here. But oddly enough, when I purchased this TMR mixer, when I hooked up the tractor, I did not get the bars on the help screen. And if you walk up to this, I did not see the pop-up in the upper left that basically showed you your inputs and basically your mix ratios. So I'm not really sure if this works properly. as a TMR mixer because, again, I'm not getting that information that I would have expected to see in a standard TMR mixer. As far as the fleet of Broad 9090X fruit tree harvesters, we have a harvester for every particular fruit that is available for us to harvest on this particular map. It would be nice to see just one harvester to rule them all with respect to the custom fruits, but maybe that is not possible. And then we have trailers to support those new fill types. We have the MRWK 6000 fruit tree trailer. Then we have a 12,000 liter fruit tree trailer. Then we have a 14,500 liter fruit tree trailer. Then we have a custom manure spreader that is set up for manure as well as separated manure and most likely compost as well. We have a custom fruit tree sprayer that's going to take our herbicide and liquid fertilizer. We have a modified animal trailer because we do have some custom animals on this map. We also have a modified Silver Star semi-trailer that's set up for those animals, as well as a custom horse trailer. Then we have some custom bales. We can buy square alfalfa and round alfalfa hay bales. We can put down custom tree sapling pallets. Then we can buy compound feed, crust cereal, shredded protein cereal, soybean flour, mineral feed, chopped potatoes, sugar beet cut, chopped carrots, TMR, compost. Then we can also buy round wheat straw bales, round silage bales, round rye grass hay bales, and then round hay alfalfa bales. Quite a mouthful as far as custom vehicles and such. So here we are at our starting farm. Again, this is completely void of all buildings and machinery in alternate play modes. Inside our building, we have a storage tank for our fuel. Some of our machinery. And on the outside, we have a storage tank for our herbicide. As well as storage for our seed and compound feed. We have our silo input and output right here. And then we have storage for our lime, as well as storage for our solid fertilizer. On this side of the shed, we have storage for liquid fertilizer. We have a water tank storage. Here we have our compound feed mixer. Then over here we have digestate storage. And that is the starting farm. Should have a maintenance trigger inside of here. Oh, look at all that. Let's go ahead and take a look at our build mode. So we do have a custom shed, this particular shed right here, that we can place down here in build mode. It is located right there. Since it does have bunkers here on the end, we are required to place it in kind of 90-degree increments. As far as silos goes, we have a fleet of custom silos. We have bale storage, custom bale storage, 250 bales. Then we have our custom main silo, 800,000 liters, 10,000 liter digestate storage tank. And then we have a covered bunker silo. It is freely rotatable, 360 degrees. Silo extensions, we are all fairly standard there. But we do have a fleet of containers. We have a fuel tank. We have a mineral feed tank. We have a compound feed tank. As well as crushed cereal silo. We have a silo for crushed protein cereal. We have our water tank, our lime storage, seed storage, solid fertilizer storage, liquid fertilizer, and herbicide storage as well. Fairly standard tools, and then we do have a custom farmhouse. You know, we do not have a farmhouse here on the starting farm area, though. Under productions, while we have a ton of custom productions, the only custom production that we can place down is our feed crusher mixer. We do have that one already owned at the start. We have standard sell points, but then it gets a little exciting with our greenhouses. So we have oval greenhouses. These are the arched greenhouses. You can see the various inputs and outputs that these are going to be taking. And then we have our rectangle greenhouses, more traditional rectangle greenhouses with an arched roof. Or not an arched roof, but a slanted roof. We have our stone pines. These are what's going to make our pine nuts. We can put those down. But we also have a large area in the forest for these are already placed. Then we have our resin pines that we could also put down. Notice those are going to be inputting herbicide for resin pines and manure for our stone pines. And then we move into our custom animals. And we have quite a bit of these. And you're going to notice down here that the animal feeds have changed. So we have a cow barn that's going to take our crushed cereal, our compound feed. We have our TMR, we have our crushed protein cereal. This is going to be grass. Then we have our silage. Sorry, that's our grass hay. Then we have this one, which is going to be alfalfa grass. And then all those various other inputs I just mentioned. This one is going to be back to grass hay. And then those various new inputs. This is going to be alfalfa hay. And then this one is going to be alfalfa hay as well, but it's with the feeding robot. Our horses are going to be requiring our crushed cereal, our compound feed, our crushed protein cereal, our alfalfa grass, our grass hay, our crushed carrots and sugar. I think I got all those right. Our pigsties are going to be set up to do crushed cereal, compound feed, pig feed, crushed protein cereal. Then these are crushed potatoes, crushed sugar beets, and crushed carrots. Sheep are going to be set up to be our crushed cereal, our crushed protein cereal. Then we have compound feed. We have then our TMR. We have grass hay, and then we have silage. Then we have alfalfa grass as a variant. Then we have grass hay again. And then we have alfalfa grass as well for our sheep. Now, this does not show milk as an output. And when we get around to our open areas, we don't really see outputs for milk on those. So I think we will have to put these down if you do want to have the sheep milk. As far as our chickens go, we do have a custom chicken coop that also is going to be taking a whole lot of various inputs. I'm not even going to try to read those because some of these icons I just can't see well enough to discern what is what. Fairly standard bees, and then our doghouse. As far as deco goes, we do have some custom fences and gates. Everything else is fairly standard. And then as far as landscaping goes, we do have some ground textures. Not a lot, but we do have some. So we have our animal mud. We have asphalt, forest ground, concrete, dirt, gravel, forest ground again, grass, dry grass, gravel, concrete plate, animal mud again. Then we have rock and granite. And lastly, we round it out with another dirt. Trees, we do have some custom trees. We have various sizes of poplar we can put down. Small cypresses, large different cypresses. And we have willows and maples. And as far as plants go, we do have some custom plants as well. So we have grass deco. We have daisies. Edelweiss. We have bushes. And it's hard to tell if these are different. They're coming up as mods. Lots of different shrubberies and such as well. Let's go and take a look at some of these ground textures. So our forest ground. Then we had our concrete. We had more dirt. Gravel. It's interesting we have that sound as if we're walking in water here. For forest ground. Grass. Dry grass. I guess non-wet gravel. And we have kind of stamped concrete with some cracks in there. Mud. Stone. And then we have our granite. And then some more dirt. We have our deco grass. Our daisies. Our Edelweiss that really looks just like daisies. I really don't know what's going on there. Looks the same to me. Then we've got a sundry of different shrubberies that we can put down. And that is pretty much starting farm and the build mode. Let's go ahead and take the skies and do a bit of a fly around. Now, right kind of southeast of the starting farm here, we do have our oval greenhouses. We do not own these at the start. We will need to buy the land in order to make use of these. And they are right below the starting farm again. They're farmland ID 32. We do have these large power lines that cross the map. They don't appear to intersect any of our fields, which is always a good thing. And I've gone ahead and purchased all the various animal areas and greenhouses just so those triggers will pop up. Here we are at our sheep area. So we have our water trough. We have our food trough. And then over here at the gate, we do have our sheep buy point. Something that I have not found is the sheep wool point. So we have various new sheep here. We have lambs. So we have Castilian hopefully, black lamb, Castilian black, white lamb, Castilian white, and then Shura. So let's go ahead and just get a Castilian black. We can hold 1,000 sheep in this facility. And we'll go ahead and take a look at our animal requirements once we go ahead and buy all of the various animals that are pre-placed on the map. Now, I can sell the animal triggers. Something I was not able to sell was the fencing or the gate, the wall around this area. But if you do sell the sheep trigger, then of course you could come in here, take out the trees, and do whatever you want with this land. From over here, we have a production facility. This is going to be one of our large production facilities. This is our compound feed factory. And speaking of productions, I mentioned this map has 36 productions built in. We'll go to run down through those here in a moment. We have our fuel depot. We have 2 biogas plants on the map. Now, they're not traditional biogas plants by any stretch of the imagination. They are named as processing plant BGA. And again, we're going to take a look at those inputs and outputs here very soon. We have a lumber plant here. They're going to make pellets. Here we have the pig area. So we have our water trough, we have our food trough in the middle, just like we had with our sheep. then we have the pig buy trigger here at the gate. And we're set up with 1,000 pigs. We have Iberian piglets and Iberian pigs. And now we're making our way over to the cow area. Just like our other two animal areas, we have our buy point here at the gate. So we have Alvean heifers, Castilian, black heifers, Castilian, okay. Then we have those heifers. Then we have Castilian, those things. Then we have those heifers, and then Castilian, those things as well. Yeah, words for which I won't try to pronounce. We have our food trough and our water trough here as well. But notice we do not necessarily see anything specific to our milk withdrawal point. Now that we own all the animal areas pre-placed, right? So, fertility, water, effectiveness, space, food. Right, we have our food here: crushed cereal, grain, shredded protein cereal, acorns, chestnuts, almonds, walnuts. Any of them compound feed will satisfy the grain and protein. The numbers in the brackets refer to the effectiveness. Okay. And then our cows. Pretty straightforward again. But as we saw, the placeable animal pens are going to have custom food requirements. Now, as far as production, 36 production items. We have the feed mixer. We have 6 oval greenhouses, 6 arched roof greenhouses, 6 rectangular greenhouses, basically 6 greenhouses that are more of a slanted roof. Here we have our sawmill. Let's loop up here to the north, around the forestry area first. We have 3 stone pine areas, compound feed factory. We have 2 processing plant BGAs. We have sawmill, carpentry, lumber plant, spinnery, sugar mill, grain mill, dairy, oil mill, packaging plant, a bakery, cheese area, pastry, tailor. We have a cereal and cookie factory, resin pine, and stone pine area. So this is going to be our stone pine area. Then we have our resin pine area over here. We have our starting farm located right there. We'll kind of loop back because I did buy the land now, so our greenhouse triggers are popping up. So here we have the 6 oval greenhouses. And then we have a fleet of triggers within this town area. Sell points galore, production galore. We have our rectangular greenhouses scattered around. We have 2 in each of these plots of land. And then here we have the industrial area. This is where a bulk of our custom production is going to be done, up here in this area. And then we have our vehicle shop located right here. So let's go ahead and do a deep dive through all of the custom production that we have here on the map. We've already talked about the feed mix crusher that we have at the starting farm, so we don't need to run down through that again. Our resin pines, they're going to take herbicide and produce resin. Then we have stone pines, so they're going to take manure and make pinions. As these are stone pine nuts. They kind of look like just pine cones. Then we have our oval greenhouses. They're going to take compost. They're going to make tomatoes, lettuce, cauliflower, strawberries, carrots, garlic, pepper, cucumbers, spring onions, and zucchinis. Scroll through those. We have our rectangular greenhouses. They are going to basically be doing the same thing, just a different form factor. Then we have our compound feed factory. It is going to take crushed cereal, shredded protein cereal, mineral feed, and soybean flour and make our compound feed. They're going to be able to make mixed rations from our hay, straw, silage, and mineral feed. We're going to be able to make alfalfa hay TMR with our alfalfa hay, straw, silage, mineral feed, and then our soybean flour. Our pig food is going to be potatoes, sugar beets, carrots. Then we have our crushed cereal, crushed protein cereal, mineral feed, and soybean flour for our pig food. The two BGAs, I mentioned they are a bit unique. Well, here we have a standard BGA. It's going to take silage, slurry, and manure and make digestate. Then we have our processing plant BGA. That's going to take straw, grass, forage, sugar beet cut, chopped potatoes, chopped carrots, and alfalfa and make into compost. We have our sawmill, which is going to take wood and make planks, wood chips, and tree bark. We have our carpentry facility, planks to make furniture and wood chips, fairly standard there. Our lumber plant is going to take wood chips and tree bark and make pellets. We have then our spinnery, which is going to take wool, cotton, and make our fabric. We have then the sugar mill, which is going to take sugar, beets, and make sugar. Then we have our flour mill, which is going to take our normal grain crops, wheat, barley, oat, sorghum, and make flour out of that. We can also make rye flour, corn flour, and our soybean flour. Then we have our cereal factory. We're going to make fairly standard cereal with flour, honey, and raisins. Then we also have the ability to, well, swap it out and make flour, honey, and prunes for prune cereal. No, not me. Or we could make cookies with flour. Then we have our soybean oil. We have our sugar. We have our nuts and milk in order to get cookies. Our dairy is going to produce butter, chocolate, soy milk from soybeans. Then we're going to take yogurt, regular milk yogurt from milk, sheep yogurt from sheep milk, and soy milk yogurt from soy milk. Now here we have sheep milk, right? So we have to be able to make sheep milk. I don't think we're going to be able to getting that out of our open sheep pasture. So we likely will have to put down a placeable custom sheep area that is included with the map in order to then get sheep milk as an output. We have our oil mill. So sunflower, canola, and olives. We're going to make sunflower, canola, and olive oil. We have our grape processing area, which is basically going to be called our, well, I guess we'll call it the grape processing area, right? We're going to take grapes and make raisins. We're going to make plums into prunes. We're then going to take, well, a combination of various input nuts, acorns, chestnuts, almonds, nuts, and pinions. And we're going to make mixed nuts out of that. We have our packaging plant, which is going to take our grapes and make into grape juice, as well as regular fruit juice with apples, oranges, cherries, plums, lemons, and pomegranates. Our bakery is going to take flour and make into bread. We also have the ability to make cupcakes with flour, eggs, sugar, milk, and sunflower oil. Our cheese factory is going to make cow cheese or sheep cheese or tofu from soy milk. Pastry has quince jelly. We're going to use quince fruit as well as 2 sugars to make 5 quince jelly. You can also then make strawberry cakes, apple cakes, and lemon cakes. And those inputs are going to be flour, sugar, milk, eggs, butter, nuts, and then either lemons, apples, or strawberries. And then lastly, we have our traditional tailor with fabric input and clothing as an output. Let's go ahead and pick up our Mahindra and do our drive around. We're going to try our best to hit all of the production and sell points, but man, oh man, there are a ton of them in town, and those icons are pretty darn close together. So we have our shop trigger. We have a fairly small area, I think, for our vehicles to spawn in at, given the general complexity of the map. But overall, the fields are fairly small. So we have a shop trigger around front. Do we have a maintenance trigger around the back? Indeed we do. We have the trigger icon there. We have our markers. And a decent sized gate to get out of here. let's just kind of make our way across the street. Let's go to the PDA and just do a kind of a rundown as to what is all in here. So we just started here at the vehicle shop. We are now at our agricultural supplies, Castile and Leon. We have our agricultural supplies sales, Castile and Leon. Then we have our dairy. We have our confectionaries. We have our carpentry. We have our oil plant. We have that place. We have our packaging plant. We have our sugar mill. We have an animal dealer. And then we have our, various those across the street. We have our sell point, and then we have our buy point for our various inputs. So we can buy here seed, road salt, lime, fertilizer. And let's just try to go around this facility in a clockwise direction. There we have our spinnery. So our dump point, our interactive icon. Our pallet spawn point at the loading dock. We have our carpentry. So we have our dump point for our logs. We have our interactive icon. We have our pallet spawn point. And this is going to be our fill point for probably our wood chips, possibly our bark. As far as the scoring goes, we're obviously giving the map a full point with respect to production being built in or areas set aside for such. Here we have our dairy, our interactive icon, right? Our dump point, and then our pallet spawn point is going to be around the back. Our second dump point. Sorry, this is going to be a fill point. We fill our liquid. This is going to be our oil processing. We have our interactive icon. We have our dump station. We have our pallet spawn point. We're also giving the map a full point with respect to the ability to sell our base game crops, animal outputs, and base game productions. As far as farms being customizable, we're also giving the map a full point there as well, because we can sell everything at the main starting area. We can sell all of the base game productions, or base game animal areas as well, that are pre-placed on the map. I don't want to be in here. This is the town. I'm going to cover that next. We have our cereal factory. So we're a dump point, interactive point at the door. We're going to sell our pallet triggers, our markers on the front. Loading bay there. This was our sugar area, I believe. So we're a dump point, pallet point, and then we have our interactive area around the other side. Moki facility here, we have our dump point. very, very narrow getting around here. We have our pallet area, and this is our sugar area. So sugar beet input, sugar outputs. I would say overall, this is going to be a map for small things. Small trailers, small vehicles, especially when we get into town there. You're going to see how small the roads are, even for the Mahindra that we're using to drive around with. So here we have our animal dealer. Then this is going to make raisins, prunes, and nuts. So our pallet point, our tone point, and our interactive point. Then we're back to our vehicle shop. Let's go ahead and make our way back around and head into town. And the town is kind of set up in different districts. That's how I kind of look at it. And each district has its own little kind of animal statue in kind of town square or center to the district. Here we are in the northwest area. And we have a tailor. We have a supermarket. We have a greengrocer, ice cream shop. We have a burger joint, pizza shop. We have a tavern, restaurant, and coffee shop. We then have a warehouse for pallets, and another warehouse for pallets over in this segment of the town. I don't know if we're going to be able to hit every single sell point because, again, these roads are narrow and quite numerous. We got one of our sell points here at the shop. Look, right around the corner, we have yet another one. So you can see, right, trying to sell products, sell grain into here, right, you're going to need something small and very nimble. If you're not good at driving, then you're probably not going to want to... this is kind of cool. Too bad we don't have ducks on the map, right? I said, if you're not a good driver, you're probably going to want to give this map a pass. Holy cow, we got traffic going on super narrow roads. Dude, I want to get out of here, not deal with traffic. I was hoping we didn't have a sell point down there. There we have 1, 2, 3 sell points here. 4, 5 right here in that little square. And then we're down kind of in the chickens area, chicken district. This will be our warehouse for pallet. Yep. Let's make our way into another kind of side district. We're going to call this the the horse district. Then we have the cow district over there. Once again, in this very narrow confines. We actually have a production point here. This looks to be our cake plant. Yep. Strawberry cakes, lemon cakes, apple cakes, and quince jelly. Interactive icon or dump point. And it looks like our pallet spawn point is actually over here on the side. Kind of neat idea there. Sell point, we have another bakery. All right, bread and cupcake production. Right. Another sell point. Like I said, in town they are all over the place. Very, very tight. We have furniture store, hardware store, our bakery, our pastry shop, warehouse for pallets, rectangular greenhouses over there, warehouse for pallets. And up here we have multiple pallet warehouses, greenhouses galore. So do these have collisions? Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Watch out for the bollards. They will get you every time. Here you see our rectangular greenhouses. So we have our inputs for our compost or manure, depending on the greenhouse. And then we have our outputs. Make our way up to the sawmill. And while we're going up there, let's talk a little bit more about our scoring with respect to abilities where appropriate are using the new texturing technique as well as ground textures. We're going to give the map a half a point there. A lot of the buildings in town are using kind of older, flatter textures. Does it take away from your gameplay experience? Only you're going to be the one to decide on that. I don't think it's too terrible bad, but again, it is something that I wanted to call out, and it's something that we take a look at when we do look at these maps. Or they're using new texture techniques that are introduced with respect to FS22. So we have our dump point for our logs, our wood cell trigger right there. We have our fill point for our wood chips and probably wood bark, tree bark. Then we have our interactive icon hidden there behind the bush at the double doors. Oh, those have bollards too. Watch out. Definitely watch out when you're driving around here. Do you like the lay of the land? How we have multiple layers, multiple levels to things. Doing real well, kind of incorporating and making use of the various elevations. I'm going to make my way over here to the forested areas. So here we have the stone pines. These are going to be producing the pine nuts for us. So we have our interactive icon there. And then our pallet spawn point. Let's get a little bit of height. So I have a chance of kind of trying to see the triggers here from above. I do know that the resin trees did definitely have marker icons. Not seeing them here on these. And once they start obviously producing pallets, it'll be pretty obvious where they are outputting, but I would like to see indicators on those. Let's make our way over here to the resin area. For that, here we have our flour mill. So we have a pickup point here at what looks like a wellhead. We have our dump point there. I like this flour mill because there's our pallet spawn point right there. Right, we got a water wheel, pallet spawn point. We need to make our way across the river to get to our resin tree area. So I was saying these unnumbered fields were planted with grass, but that is not the case. They're just not numbered. It means they're not defined as actual fields. Of course, you can plant crop in them, but they're just not numbered, so they won't have kind of AI crop. Here we have the resin forest, and we have our interactive icon here, and then we have our corner markers for our resin pallets to spawn. Make our way over here to our main thoroughfare running down the map. And here are our oval greenhouses. The ones with the arch roof. Right, we have a defined input and pallet spawn points. Hit our road right here. Now, as far as our last scoring metric goes, player triggers in interactive areas being clearly marked. We've had a few areas already where those are not that obvious. The sheep pens, honestly, I'm not sure if they make wool or not, because it really wasn't popping up in the information screen for the animals. But here is another kind of perfect example of where I would like to see kind of triggers. So we have one output, two outputs, and back to here, three outputs. This is a production facility. This is our compound feed factory, so we're going to make compound feed, TMR, and alfalfa hay. TMR is outputs and pig food. Then we have our dump station. Then we have a fourth output, right? So this thing has four outputs. Each output seems to be individual. but there's no signage as to what each one is going to bring us. So we have TMR, mineral feed, pig food, and that one. That one's not popping up at all for me. Possibly because that's alfalfa or TMR hay or something. That one, we're not getting a mix pop up, so it's outputting something. We just can't toggle what it outputs. It's a single versus multiple. And that one also is single versus multiple. So I'd like to see, like, for example, here, signage. Let me right there at the wall with the output pipe that tells us what each one outputs without having to go around and figure it out and then remember it, right? Then we can dump in either of these dump stations. So to that end, we're going to give the map 3/4 of a point with respect to triggers and markers where appropriate are indicated. I feel that we could do a little bit better with respect to having those indicated. Here we have our fuel point. So that's going to give this map a total score of 4.25 out of 5. Very respectable score. Very interesting map with lots of custom things like our various fruit crops, nut trees, ways to harvest our fruits, all built in. So over to our left, we have the more traditional BGA that is going to do digestate output. So we have our digester, our interactive icon, we have our dump, and then we have our output for our digestate. Over here, we have then the other BGA that is basically going to take and make compost. We have our input hopper, our interactive icon, and then our output there around the back. The last point of interest that I want to get to is right here. This is our pellet factory. We have our dump point. Oh, we're smoking here. I like to see smoke. So cool. Pallet spawn point, and then our interactive point. So guys, I'd love to hear what you all think down in the comments below with respect to Castile and Leon New Horizon. What would you score the map? Are you interested in playing the map? Do you want to give fruit trees a try? I would really love to see fruit trees come to the game in a kind of a legit fashion, either in FS22 or whatever the next farm sim may be. What are you looking to see brought in? I'd love to see nuts, fruit come in to the next farm sim with kind of realistic harvesting equipment, tree shakers and all. And until next time, happy farming.